odds. No matter how it come, any shape, form, or fashion, just win at the end of the day. But for me personally, I'm always looking to, close the show and make sure that, I look good doing it.
Would it feel good? Because the only knock that people have on you is like the fights you've had. Finally, you could fight a name, and if you win, no one could say anything about it.
Time out. Time out. I could have sworn the last person I beat Sean Porter. So what makes him a lesser name than Sean Porter?
Marketing, name, achievement, two-time champ.
Again, the last opponent that I beat Sean Porter. So what makes him a lesser opponent than Sean Porter?
You don't feel like Kell was diminished in his age and all that, and he's lost a few fights to Golovkin and then obviously Spence. Do you think he had diminished a little bit?
Sean Porter lost to Spence. Sean Porter lost to Keith Thurman. Sean Porter lost to Kell Brooks. So what makes me think that when I beat Sean Porter, they won't say the same? He's, same age? So it's hard to say, it's just, when we get in there, we're going to see, and then y'all can criticize me afterwards, and y'all can say, oh, well, he just fought Sean Porter. He just fought Sean Porter, and this and that, and he got to fight Canelo now. I'm going to be waiting for it.
You fought fighters with any kind of style your whole life.
That's right.
What kind of style does Porter have for you?
Well, Porter, he's going to put pressure. He can box. He can get rugged in there. It's no one style Porter that, I see that everybody else see. He has fast feet. He has good hand speed. He's very athletic. He's durable. So, I really can't say which Sean Porter I'm going to see come fight night. But like I said once, and I'm going to say it again, we're going to be prepared for whichever style he brings to the table.
But a lot of people seem to avoid Sean Porter. You seem to embrace this. Do you think with the great sensational victory, it'll silence the critics that say Bud Crawford, yeah, he is pound for pound, but who has he fought? And by the way, I'm in your corner.
It depends on the fashion that I beat Sean in. You see, everybody that's beat Sean won on a split decision. So if I beat Sean in a fashion that I beat everybody else, then they're gonna say, oh, well, Sean Porter wasn't the same Sean Porter. Or they're gonna say, oh, well, Sean Porter wasn't the man in the division. So, it really doesn't matter. My thing is doing what I do best, and that's winning in tremendous fashion.
Do you have to make a statement against Porter then? Do you have to go in there and do an absolute 12-round shutout, maybe something that nobody else has done, stopping him, knocking him down in just a few times? Do you have to make a statement against Sean Porter?
Just win.
Just win.
It's never on my mind to go in there and knock somebody out or say, oh, I got to win all 12 rounds. I'm always going into it, each and every fight, win a fight. Do whatever you got to do to win a fight. Dictate the fight, control it, make sure you're in control, and the rest will fall in place.
But a year ago when I talked to you, people looked at you crazy about the idea of, PBC and Top Rank came together for Wild and Fury. Why can't I? And, a year later, it's happened, and it obviously worked in your favor. I just want to talk a little bit about the patience and understanding the business game, and just knowing that they're going to come to you.
Well, politics play a big factor in, certain fights not being able to get made. As we know, PBC, Top Rank, and other promotional companies been doing business with each other for years. It's just a matter of, do I want to let my number one guy in the division go fight one of your guys in the division when I got all these guys from in-house that my guy can fight, and I don't have to do business with y'all, and I can keep all the belts over here instead of risking me fighting one of my guys to go over there to fight your champion and potentially lose, and you wouldn't do the same for me. So that's how politics play.
And then on top of that, I know you're a great boxing mind, and I saw you poking fun at Red like a couple months ago. on his IG with the Ugats and Pacquiao, and you're like, told you, Red. Like, what was he was like, Ugats, Red. Like, oh.
No, because I told Red before the fight that Ugas was gonna win. You know, and Red thought that Pacquiao was gonna stop Ugas, and you know, he was wrong.
Are you happy how that process worked with the WBO getting involved in this and then saying like, hey, Porter's going to fight Crawford, this is what we're saying? I mean, is that the way boxing should work?
Of course. I feel like, you know, boxing should work in a way kind of like UFC. One champion, one division. You know, if the champion is hurt, then there's an interim champion, and when the champion gets back, there's no tune-ups, there's no let me get my feet back weight. You go right back into the interim champion, and you keep going, and so forth.
Exactly, and you know, I mean, as much as we can like bang our heads against the wall, or you can as well, about or when are you going to fight Spence, the same thing can happen. You get this victory here, one of those sanctioning bodies can step in and say, we want to see this fight next. Get together for voters, right?
Well, you know, like I said before, man, that fight is past me personally. You know, I felt like I did everything that I possibly do, you know, to try to make that fight happen. You know, and for some odd reason, you know, everybody kept saying, "Oh, I'm chasing him. I'm this and I'm that." Yeah, I was chasing him, you know, and he didn't want the fight. He was saying he wanted the fight, but he really didn't want the fight, you know. And my thing was just, if you wanted the fight, you could have made the fight happen.
Yeah, you got to focus on Porter, but in your mind, are you thinking that maybe the fight after that would be for a 154 belt rather than Spence?
There's other fights out there.
Okay.
You know, Ugas just won. You know, that's a unification bout. That's a big fight. You got Keith Thurman still out there. You got Josh Taylor out there. You got Ortiz out there. So you know, it's a lot of fights out there to be made. You know, so I don't necessarily got to go to 154 to get a fight. It's fights at 147.
Would you welcome Josh Taylor at 147? Would you welcome
Of course.
I mean, there's a good thing. The two of you with the past undisputed at 140. You can build out 140 undisputed against each other. What do you make of Josh's style and stuff like that? Do you think he'll give you a sort of entertaining fight for the fans?
Josh is a good talent. You know, I can't take nothing away from him. You know, like I said, I picked him to become undisputed, you know, before he even fought. And I just always said, you know, he was a very talented fighter and he was good. You know, I'm a different animal.
What about Boots Ennis?
Boots good
doing really well.
Boots doing great, you know. Like I said, you know, I've been watching Boots since he was young, you know, and boy got talent.
They compare him to you a lot. Whenever someone fights you, they call him if he could help with a switch hitter, a lot of knockouts.
Oh yeah.
You would be fighting yourself almost.
I think I'm a little smarter than Boots, you know. I'm a little smarter than Boots.
By the way, what do you think of Canelo Plant? It's a major fight coming up, less than a month.
It's gonna be a good fight. You know, I'm interested to see how Caleb Plant, you know, attack Canelo. You know, if he go in there trying to do the same thing everybody else did, same results. You know, you got to find a way, you know, to get Canelo out of his comfort zone.
You know, but you mentioned Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz. How far is he away? How close is he to a title shot in sharing the ring with Bud Crawford?
I don't know. But Virgil, you know, he's right there. You know, he's right there. You know, he's been proven that he belongs with the top fighters in the division. And, you know, who knows? A couple of fights or next fight or whatever the case may be, he might be sharing the ring with Terrence Crawford. You never know.
There's sometimes that you don't like boxing. Like you're friends with Shakur, you're friends with Jamel. What do you do that night? Do you not show up? Do you not watch the fight?
You're always at fights.
I wasn't going to come technically because I didn't want to see the fight. I felt like, you know, honestly, you know, Shakur should have been fighting Valdez before Valdez even got a title shot because he was WBO champion in 126. So he should have been the mandatory to fight Shakur. But this is how politics work. He got the fight for the WBC championship when he shouldn't have been able to fight for the WBC championship when he wasn't even a WBC champion. You know, he was the 26th WBO. But Valdez is a good friend of mine too. We not tight like me and Shakur, but I support Valdez, so I'm happy to see him doing well. I'm happy to see him, you know, successful and whatnot. Yeah, good dude. You know, so I would have liked to see Valdez fight Shakur and Jamel fight Burchett, and then the winner out of those two fight each other, you know, but it didn't happen. So, you know, those two is fighting, and, you know, got to go in there, close both eyes, and make sure both of them make it home safe.
Wilder Fury.
It's going to be a good fight, you know. If Wilder come in and he develop a better left hand and some upper body movement and some rhythm, you know, he can make a different fight this go around. But if he go in there just looking for the one punch, he's going to lose.
Who wins then? Who wins?
Fury.
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 Terrence, there's been so much speculation about what you're going to do next with your contract expiring with Top Rank. But do you look at Canelo and say, there's some real beauty in free agency? I wouldn't mind doing it that way.
My main focus is Sean Porter right now. After my fight, then, you know, we can think about all that when that time comes. But right now, you know, I'm more focused on the job at hand. And, you know, my promotional company is Top Rank come November 20th. So that's where we at.
I gotta ask you this. You're very competitive. Amir Khan is very competitive. What's it like to have him in the gym? Have you seen his hand speed yet up close?
Amir, you know what I mean? He's doing good. You know what I mean? He's doing good. He left. We really too much didn't get to train together because when he was in camp, I wasn't in camp. You know, he was in camp with Jamil, so, you know, we really didn't get to train together. But a couple of days in Omaha, we really didn't do too much of nothing.
He wants to kill Brooks fight.
That's a good fight for him. It's a good fight for him.
Hey, Regis Corporation mentioned that he may want to move up to 147. If so, is that somebody that you're interested in sharing the ring with?